Good evening.
Welcome back, everybody.
To the abyss.
Let's scare your pants off.
What were you going to say? You hesitated. Scare your pants right off.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
You know, I still can't stop thinking about that last story we read on our last episode.
Oh, the hobo delight?
That just jumps down out of nowhere.
Yeah. That's my best friend. You're not gonna take his beer.
That was such a good story.
So fucking funny.
It was honest to God.
If you haven't heard it, check out our last episode. It's like literally the last one. It's so funny.
Yeah, but listen to the whole thing. Even though the end is the best, like, listen to the whole thing. No spooky podcast would be good without a complimentary beer. Tonight we're drinking Wilson Mountain Style IPA from Roadhouse Brewing Co.
Dude, it's actually really fucking good.
Is it?
Yeah.
I know how to pick them.
Like, I like what it says on the side of the can. Poised at the base of Teton Pass.
Hell yeah. Ooh, that is
Wilson,
good.
Wyoming.
That is smooth. Damn. You know what it's not? It's not a Pabst.
Hey.
That drivel that you got last week.
Okay, you little beer snob. Quit twirling your mustache. Yeah, I drink the fancy beers.
This is the sound of me twirling my mustache.
Yes.
It's not sophisticated enough for my palate.
That's how I got some hair on my chest.
I don't have very much. I need to keep going.
I got 3 curls.
It's 5.5 at this point. So we started a new show, my wife and I, the other night. Does the name Jared Fogle ring a bell, Cleet?
Yeah. Why does it though?
Subway guy.
Oh yeah, the
pedophile fucking monster.
Yeah.
So they have the documentary out on him now, and we started it. It's so it's Jared from Subway catching a monster. We were like, oh, let's just watch it. And dude, it is so nostalgic because they play all the commercials he's in. I'm like, I've seen every one of these. Like when they were aired.
He lost 400 pounds and then he tried to catch a kid.
Oh, he tried to catch many kids. It's kind of hard to watch because they have the actual audio clips of him talking about it. Dude was a fucking monster.
Did you hear his defense?
I'm sure I'll get to it. I think we have one episode left.
I don't know if this was the defense. I could be wrong. I haven't watched what you're talking about, but I'm pretty sure they said it was because that he lost so much weight that his desires grew exponentially and he just couldn't control himself. Luckily, that didn't pass in court and he went to jail.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's only 3 episodes. We're down 2. But it's, I don't know. They started like most of them. That's like the talks about his upbringing and how he was bullied and everything. So it almost starts like you kind of have to feel bad for him, but you're like, I don't feel bad at all.
You make a conscious choice to ruin a kid's life.
Well, yeah, no, it's yeah. So it's actually a good show, but it's very nostalgic because we're like, holy shit! Like it literally brought back all those memories from those commercials. Because you couldn't see a Subway commercial without that fucker in his balloon pants everywhere.
Subway, eat here if you're.
Oh God.
Take that.
You're editing. I'm gonna let you decide on that one. Yeah, I don't want to get sued for that. I don't want Subway coming after us, so you better get that out of there. Subway, here. But we are here this week to wrap up Tier 8 of the Conspiracy Theory Iceberg. And just a reminder, this is the Reality Hacker tier is what it's called. So this will wrap up Tier 8, and then we have Tier 9, and then Tier 0. So I think we can get another 3 episodes after this, and we'll be done. Finally.
All right.
It's been a long time coming.
Exciting. Yeah. Here's the grand finale. We're getting down the shaft.
No, I think we're almost done with that. We're at the precipice where it meets the balls.
I was gonna say that. I'm like, is that too far?
No. We're almost there. I mean, I don't think it's the worst thing we've said on the show.
Yeah, it's true.
I think we're okay there.
All right.
But anyway, Cleet's going to kick us off. Tier 8, Part 2.
All right, the first one is RuneScape.nyc.
Like the RuneScape game?
Yeah.
Oh.
So this was posted on Reddit. The author deleted their name. But
Coward.
It says RuneScape is set in New York. Conspiracy theory.
What?
So it says, quick rundown on RuneScape NYC. It's a single city, is densely packed with multiple ethnicities and multiple islands and separate boroughs. So it's talking about the game RuneScape.
Sounds like New York.
Off a post-apocalyptic version of New York. Anyways, RuneScape is densely packed with multiple races on multiple islands with separate kingdoms.
Sounds like we're talking about New York here.
Yeah. Public chatter is ongoing 24/7 when moving, traveling to the area. Multiple methods of earned income in NYC and RuneScape are parallel, from begging on the streets to long-term skilled labor and people playing the stock market. Begging only works because densely packed area skills will only earn you a decent income after years of work. I don't know what PKing is. It has PKing on there. If anyone knows what that is, let me know in the comments. It says high risk, high reward. And stock market players tend to be the richest overall.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google it real quick because it might be. It's one of the most iconic activities in RuneScape.
I should know that. What is it, though?
It's the act of two or more players engaging in combat against each other.
Okay.
Player killing.
Player killing. I think it's that. You can't trust anyone. Everyone willing to fuck each other over for profit. Lulz. Holiday events are held year-round at Times Square. Multiple groups and activists of different political motivations constantly urge lawmakers to change things to their needs. Underground teleport systems that take you to and from any city. Even though there is a physical life, everyone is actually emotionally devoid of life. Sounds like New York.
That's New York.
So anyways, I guess the conspiracy theory is, it's like a psyop, or maybe the government created RuneScape to see how people would trade and have a society after a post-apocalyptic event.
And they're like, this is just like New York.
Yeah, if a meteor just burnt through the city and they had to rebuild.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, it's not the most far-fetched thing we've talked about in this iceberg.
Yeah.
I think it's plausible.
All right. The next one is concrete people of Kalahasi.
Excuse me?
Kalahasi. Concrete people of Kalahasi.
It was more like concrete people. I was like, people full of concrete.
Yeah,
we talked about concrete enemas, right? We've done that. Not we've done it. We haven't done it. But we talked about it on the tier. I think you covered it.
Yeah, it was on there. Someone just started putting cement in their bum, their booty.
That's smart.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
It's a real kick in the butthole.
Ugh.
Okay.
I haven't been able to poop for weeks.
I wonder why.
All right. Back to concrete people of Kalahari. The story unfolds in April 2013 when two photos emerge of an unusual disc-shaped object over the Kalahari copper mine in northern Chile. Several eyewitnesses watched as a UFO remained in the sky for over an hour, moving around and hovering. According to UK and Ireland, experts at the Committee for Studies of Anomalous Aerial Phenomena have ruled it is not any weather phenomenon or any other known object made by man. So apparently, all the mine workers were looking up in the sky and they just saw this object hovering over it for 2 hours.
Was it hidden behind a cloud?
No, it was out in the open.
Nope.
So I saw one source, but it was super sketchy, and it was just and then they looked down and saw concrete men, but they disappeared right away once they noticed them. So I don't know, seemed kind of sketch, kind of seemed like it almost to me makes it sound like this story is true, but people tried to add that portion to discredit it. I felt that vibe, but maybe the aliens were concrete men.
Yeah, because it's hey, there's this UFO flying around.
And it's totally legit, and it's gaining traction in the scientific community. And then someone goes, oh yeah, and there was concrete people. Yeah. And it just loses credit, It's
we were following along, and now who gives a shit?
You're crazy concrete. All right, okay, all right. Moving on. The next one is codification or codification. The term codification denotes the creation of codes, which are compilations of written statutes, rules, and regulations that inform the public of acceptable and unacceptable behavior. So the conspiracy is that instead of the invisible hand, like society, you and me, determining these laws on what is acceptable behavior and what is unacceptable, global elites have tampered with this process of the codification to benefit their self-interest and to help them make more money.
Yeah, it's always those damn global elites, man.
Yeah, so it's probably because of them, Britain, you can't go run outside streaking or something.
Watch me. You'll just have to bail me out of jail.
You can do it, but you'll go to jail, yeah.
It's don't tell me I can't do it. I'll do it right.
I don't care if there's 8 elementary schools down the street. That's my first. That's my first 3.
Okay. So I'm going to start with something called inverted humans. Humans that are just inverted. So various pieces of ancient artwork depict what appears to be a human, but is inverted or upside down. Now, it wouldn't be so strange if it happened to just be a lone human upside down, but in these drawings, the upside down being is usually surrounded by other humans that are standing upright underneath them. Really, it's actually really kind of cool artwork. Some theorists look past the artwork and believe something deeper, as some of the descriptions of these pieces describe the inverted human going from soil to sky. So what does that mean exactly?
Angels.
No. Sometimes the inverted being is shown as being taller than the other humans that are circling them, which would indicate another existence of giants.
Aha!
They're back. More theorists go on to say that this is further proof of Agartha, Middle Earth, or Hollow Earth, as we've covered numerous times in the Iceberg. So yeah, the from soil to sky is like, what it means is, you got one person that appears to be upside down, but it just means that they're in the hollow earth and everyone else is surrounding them is on the other side.
See, I thought it was because sometimes like giants were said to be derived from angels banging hot chicks.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
I subscribe to that theory. I mean, if you're a giant, you're probably going to get a bunch of hot chicks. And then you just make a bunch of inverted humans and then you go live in Agartha where the T-Rexes are and Hitler is.
Live in hell.
It's not hell. It's Agartha. Agartha is hell. That's the last theory.
Oh, God.
I mean, Hitler would be in hell. I mean, let's be honest.
Are you saying Hitler's not in hell, Britain?
No, I just said Hitler is in hell. Like, are you deaf? Okay, next is Italian languages or DNA shaping techniques. This one's wild. So what if the very words that you spoke could change your DNA over time, the more that you used it? This theory suggests just that, because several studies performed on individuals who speak Latin have shown a difference in their DNA before and after the study was performed. So although Latin has the highest change of DNA, it's also been observed in other languages as well. So just to clarify a bit, it does not mean that one can completely change their genetic makeup by simply learning and speaking Italian, but rather those in Italy who have spoken the language for their entire lives have seen a change. The theory gives some credence to the idea that language and words have a little more power to them, and when spoken in certain dialects, can actually change things around them. So it's actually a study they did where they're like, hey, the Italian-speaking language, like those monitored before and after a lifetime of speaking Italian, like their DNA had some changes to it. It's really weird. And some theorists are like, well, yeah, because like if you think of like like a curse or something, like words when you put them in a certain dialect, like Latin or something, and a curse has an actual effect. But if you were just to translate it to English and curse someone, it's like, I curse you, nothing happens. It has to be in a certain dialect to actually unlock the true potential.
Yeah, I learned how to speak Latin, and a week later, after doing 21andMe, was it 23andMe?
Yeah, 21andMe. Click and have a beer now.
My result said I was a triceratops.
Yeah, so there you go. It's like because of a third horn. Sick ass. But that was actually kind of weird because they did a study about it, and like it goes deeper into like, because I think DNA can change slightly over time.
Yeah, the radiation.
Yeah, exactly. Chernobyl.
See, I don't know why my DNA changed, but I keep getting these burn marks on my back at night when the green glow happens.
Did you start speaking Latin? No, yeah, that's what it is. Sorry, I know now.
Yeah, it's the Latin.
Okay, and then the last one that I'll cover is St. Ulvin's creations. So this theory is a little trippy, just to say the least. So apparently a man named Ulvin Weplanis, also known as Saint, on YouTube, has developed some interesting, sometimes downright disturbing video games. One of these games is called at. So it's the at symbol, pronounced and. And it was created sometime in 2015. An article I found online describes the person's experience playing the game. The menu of the game is full of hyphens and forward slashes with music that continually drones on with an occasional scream that sounds in the background. Just some good menu music gets you hyped up for the game.
Just a regular game.
The gameplay itself is very similar in that the characters only speak in slashes and hyphens, and it's completely unintelligible. This leads some theorists to believe that you have to already know what's happening to understand it, so you have to basically have created it to understand. Events are unlocked randomly with another unrelated event, which makes it very hard, if not impossible, to progress through, as you can imagine. Another game he made is Schnell Online, which is equally as confusing, but also much more horrific. Those who have claimed to play it state that there are acts of violence, aggression, terrorism, and even stuff being done to children, and is rumored to be an outlet for people who enjoy those things to participate in. So it's basically a game where if you are a fucked up individual, can go and do very fucked up things online to kind of get your aggression out of it.
Damn you, Fogel.
Yeah. I know. That's really weird that I talk about it and like the first like 5 things, some of them have very similar things of Fogel. There's also rumors of an internal monetary value which can be converted to actual money, which causes some to believe it's a form of money laundering service. Interesting. So yeah, this guy named Saint creates some very unique video games online. They make no sense. They're very violent. It's kind of a form of money laundering, whatever. So some fucking whack job in his mom's basement's like, I want to make these cool video games. And it's like, here we are.
It's like, you can get these coin bits.
Yeah. And these coin bits were taken from a blue meth lab, and I need to wipe the money clean. Anyway.
All right, this one is 90% of books are written by one author.
100% true.
So here's a fun stat. 90% of self-published books sell less than 100 copies.
Really?
Kind of sad. Think of walking through Barnes & Noble. I used to do that like every year.
Speaking of which, they fucking shut the one down by us. You know, by work. They shut it down. It's gone.
Sad.
Yeah, my kids like going through like the kid section to pick out a book. We went. They were closed. Done.
I'll be honest. I haven't gone to a Barnes & Noble in like 10 years.
Dude, I love it.
Yeah,
I read all the time. But anyway, continue.
You don't need a Barnes & Noble to read. All right.
Shut the fuck up, dude. It's the best place to buy books because you're whatever.
You just buy it on Amazon, man. Why are you so defensive of Barnes & Noble? I bet you had that little subscription.
I did. I have the card in my wallet. You want to see it? You want to see this? Look.
No.
Look.
I don't. I don't even care.
Check this shit out. Check it out. Hang on. Hold, please. Hold, please. Boom. Barnes & Noble member, motherfucker.
I'm really proud of you.
But anyway, continue, please.
So when I would walk through Barnes & Noble, you would just see rows and rows of paperback books with different titles from authors you've never heard of, right?
Yeah.
So
a lot of them are pen names. This
conspiracy believes that these books were created by an AI to make your simulation of real life feel more real. And, we are at the point now where AI can actually write genuine stories. So
I know, we did an episode on it. Remember that episode? That was fun. We got to do that again.
There's another theory that a lot of those books are actually just blank text because they know that you, the actual character, you're not an auxiliary character, you're the real one, isn't actually going to open most of those books. You imagine that? So 99% of the books are just blank. They're like, oh, we know Britain's going to go to the gentleman's magazine in the back.
Hell yeah.
That's all he looks at.
You got to break up the Stephen King with the typical, gentleman's magazine.
Yeah, there you go.
Got to have a little bit of lust after the horror.
So 90% of the books are written by AI, or they're not even written at all, I guess.
That's actually kind of interesting. Now I'm going to have to go to Barnes & Noble and open up like thousands of books. I'm going to find one that's empty. Like, I fucking knew it.
Because all the Barnes & Nobles outside of that place is empty. That's the one store with all the books, all the real books.
But, if you're like, I just buy them on Amazon. So I guarantee you there's millions of books on Amazon that are blank.
Maybe.
Guarantee it.
I'm going to see if there's just a blank book.
You should. Blank page. It's called a journal. Fuck.
All right. The next one is CCA-XX1.
Okay.
So I was grasping at straws here.
Okay.
But this is what I found. There is some connection with the Zuba satellite that was covertly launched with hushed secrecy from our government, our benevolent, altruistic government.
They do nothing wrong.
It is said that it contains a new biological weapon of a genetically modified super brain-eating amoeba.
Oh, damn.
It is believed that this would be a super weapon. Imagine blasting this down onto your enemy, and their brains get melted by this carnivorous brain-eating monster. Worse is that the few brain-eating amoebas out in the wild already have a 99.9% mortality rate if you contract it. Super rare to contract it, but meaning that if you could increase the virulence of that amoeba, you could effectively destroy an entire civilization and even species. Gives me a little bit of Halo Floods vibes.
Oh, dude.
Even
the first time you see those freaked me out.
Yeah, the flood was creepy.
That was so good.
The last one is Holy Grail found centuries ago. I just actually finished watching Indiana Jones, the movie.
The first one.
With my baby yesterday. With the Holy Grail?
One?
The Holy Grail one? Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't really watching it, and we just played it.
Apparently the new one just got shit on. It looked so bad.
Yeah.
Like, it got like a 3 out of 10.
The South Park remake about them remaking it. They're just...
It's like, let it die. There's certain... Just let it go. Next is like E.T. 2.
Yeah, I'm not down. I haven't watched it. I don't want to. No. I won't watch remakes, really. Anyways... so we all know the Grail is supposed to give you immortality and vast knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So this theory believes that it was found, obviously, a long time ago and held within an ancient society. Through time and compound growth and investments, they become today's elite and celebrities. This is why we see celebrities that have doppelgangers from hundreds of years ago, and why Keanu Reeves hasn't aged.
That guy does not age at all.
There is also a conspiracy within this conspiracy that there are trillionaires to this day that stay off the Forbes Top 100 richest list to avoid the publicity because they would get heat and people might realize they're actually a few thousand years old.
Yeah. I have something to tell you, Cleet.
Yeah?
I am one of those.
I bet.
I have $1 trillion in the bank.
I don't buy that, man. I don't buy it.
I don't care.
You'd be like the most frugal person in the world.
If I had $1 trillion, you don't need to be frugal at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I free spend. I'm going to buy your house. I bought it from the bank over you.
I don't think that's how it works.
I'm going to evict you.
They just sue me into oblivion.
I bought it for 500 times its worth. They can't turn me down.
$10 million.
All right. We're going to move on to something called bovine hormone conditioning. Cows. This theory plays heavily into modifying the foods that we eat and even population control. We beat the hell out of that topic. We know that some of our foods are modified. 'Tis no surprise, but this specific theory plays into modified cows. There are a few theories surrounding this idea, one of them being that cows are modified to grow faster and become larger to create a much bigger output of meat. Because, why not make a cow massive and then get 500 burgers out of it than 5?
It is true.
This theory goes further to suggest that harsh chemicals are put into cows that would make humans sick upon ingesting the meat and could cause illness and death. It'd be a pretty easy cover-up as well because it could be very easy to hide, not traceable, and could be penned as food poisoning. Some theorists run further with this idea and borrow ideas from the soy theories that we've covered prior to suggest that the government is pumping us with all these chemicals to change our physiology and genetic structure. Basically, cows are being pumped full of bad shit, so every burger we eat, we're ingesting chemicals.
Estrogen cows.
Yeah. This one is XRA psyops. From what I've gathered, loosely, mind you, is that this theory revolves around a cartoon on Cartoon Network's Adult Swim titled Xavier the Renegade Angel. I'd never even heard of this show. Have you? I watched quite a bit of Adult Swim back in the day. Never even heard of it.
Never heard of it. I watched a lot of Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
That was a good one. I think it's coming back, actually, with Meatwad and everything. So I'd never heard of the cartoon, obviously, to researching this, but it sounds very interesting. The idea is that the show was created by the elitist groups as a way to cover up certain things that they do involving blood rituals with kids. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure because the biggest source I found was Wendigoon, so, credit goes to him on that one. But I also like to stray off the beaten path to find whatever else I can, and found really not much of anything. So I guess the biggest idea is that they made this cartoon so that when and if their acts are brought to light, we'd be like, hey, that sounds familiar. Remember that cartoon, Xavier, the Renegade Angel? Yeah, that's just kind of a rip off of that. So the theory is that this cartoon was created as a kind of a scapegoat for when it comes to light. They're like, oh, no, it's just that cartoon you're thinking of.
Yeah, you watch too many cartoons. We didn't eat children.
Exactly. We're not bathing in their blood. Island. Exactly. And then this one, this one's rough. Bug chasing. Have you heard of bug chasing?
Yeah, I actually have.
Not good.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Gonosypha herpalades.
I had not heard of this, and I was like, oh, okay, this could be a fun one. I was wrong. It's not so much a theory as
butterfly catcher? Sorry.
It's a real thing, and it's not good, so just be warned. The process called bug catching refers to an individual who is intentionally seeking human immunodeficiency virus, or HIV, through sexual activity. The origins to this crazy act aren't really known, but it's speculated to have been started sometime around the start of the AIDS crisis or closer to the 1900s. It existed as early as 1997 when Newsweek published an article on it, which was followed up in 2003 by Rolling Stone. The Stone article suggested that roughly 25% of all new HIV infections in the United States were linked to bug-chasing activity.
I feel like people are like, I didn't accidentally get it. I wanted it, after getting it. That's kind of my prediction there.
Yeah. And that the theory did talk about that a little bit, like
I didn't I didn't accidentally get that. I'm not an idiot. I wanted it.
Right. No, that was a very real thing because it spread a lot at that time. And so that's one of the things is like, instead of admitting that you were careless, you're like, oh yeah, no, I totally wanted to do it. But there are individuals who really did do it. The few explanations behind this behavior include sexual excitement at the idea of HIV positive status to finding a shared sense of community and belonging with other HIV positive individuals, and even suicidality. So I guess there's also some other extremists in the bug chasing dynamic who try to contract as many STDs as possible.
Catch 'em all.
100%. Like there are, I don't know. The theory did talk about like there are some that's like I want to catch as many as I possibly can. Like
herpes, I choose you.
Really though, the darker side of this whole thing is that some are said to reverse the idea and want to infect as many people as possible. So the really dark side of it is like someone would catch them all and be like, I want to see how many people I can give this to. And, you know, it's easy to say, you know, I'm clean. I'm good. We're good. And then, no. But yeah, I'm trying to remember the article I was reading. It was like one guy had like a body count where he's like, I infected this many people. It was absolutely disgusting. Like, but their lives are in your hands at that point. Like that's not good. Oof. So anyway, that's bug chasing. So just be safe, people. Like, come on, just be safe.
Use a garbage bag
if you have to. If that's all there's left, a Snickers wrapper, whatever you can, man. Use something. Anyway, that's my 3. So,
all right, this one is hostile plants.
Oh, like the movie The Happening from M. Night Shyamalan that sucked ass.
Never watched it.
Don't watch it.
All right, there are plants that eat people.
Okay. What is this, Mario? The big red plants that snap you when you jump over them?
It's probably one of the most fantastical tales in all of botany.
Ooh.
The legend of the man-eating tree.
Hell yeah.
First reported in 1881 by a German explorer called Karl Lisch. It was said to be a sacred and much feared plant used in sacrifice rituals by the native Makoto tribe. The South Australian Register printed his account of a first-hand encounter with a Makoto and their fearsome tree.
It's like every time someone walks by that tree, they're just gone. It's just a big old heap of blood left.
Here's the quotation. From the top of the tree sprout long, hairy green tendrils.
Jesus, that's disgusting.
And a set of tentacles, constantly and vigorously in motion, with a subtle. I caught it. With a subtle, sinuous, silent throbbing against the air.
Could you describe a tree any more perverse? That first sentence is just nasty.
The slender, delicate poppy, with a fury of starved serpents, quivered a moment over her head.
Good God.
Then, as if in instinct with the demonic intelligence fastened upon her, in a sudden coils around her neck. I guess there's like a woman being embraced by this. I don't know.
That's what it sounds like.
Then, while her awful screams and yet more awful laughter rose wildly to be instantly strangled, down again into a gurgling moan, the tendrils, one after another, like great green serpents, with brutal energy and infernal rapidity, rose, retracted themselves, and wrapped her about in fold after fold, ever tightening with cruel swiftness and savage tenacity of anacondas fastening upon their prey. The theory expands and says that there's many more man-eating plants, which, why don't we hear about it? But it's like a cover-up. It's why so many people disappear in national parks in the U.S.
I was going to say, like the 411 something?
Yeah.
It's like a vine that takes them underground, eats them up.
So to stop, public outcry and mass forest burnings, they cover up the homicidal plants.
Well, yeah. Okay. Makes a whole hell of a lot of sense. Trees are just eating people. Yeah.
Here's some oxygen. Give me that leg.
Yeah. I'm going to help you breathe, but I'm also going to strangle the shit out of you.
All right. The next one is upward causality.
We're going to have to start having you drink water because you go mental.
I do.
You go mental.
Upward causality is a dynamic where the behavior of the parts in a system are seen to cause the behavior or functioning of the whole.
You mean as the whole, like WH. I literally thought you said the functioning of the whole.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I was confused.
Anyways,
now that we're talking about the right whole.
With upward causation, determination and causality move upward from the lower levels to the higher levels. That is, if enough people believe in something, it can change the macro effects of a larger group or system. For example, if people think the stock market will go down, their overall negative sentiment will bring down the stock market. This theory takes it further and says God exists only because people think he does. You can extrapolate this further as needed. Tooth Fairy, the Mothman, you know, Britain's dad caring about him.
The Tooth Fairy, real. Mothman, real. God, you know.
The last one is Lithuania poems.
Okay.
I actually found this on a Lithuanian site. I had to translate it. Anyways.
So we know we're getting it right from the source.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
So this is rooted in the Lithuanian poem writer Oscar Malasius. That's how you pronounce it.
It's Malasius?
Sue me. All right. Who made some very accurate predictions of the future.
I don't need to sue you. I have $1 trillion.
These predictions included the Nazis occupying half of France, the Holocaust, and the creation of the nuclear bomb. Prophecies that haven't been fulfilled yet is that he stated the end of the world signs would happen in the United States when a violent revolution takes place. And soon thereafter, the moon will fall to the earth. So buckle up, everyone, because it's going to get a little spicy.
Did he happen to leave a year or somewhere about?
Man. No.
Because the Mayans were wrong, but we know why. It's just because their calendar ended because they only went so far in advance. Doesn't mean they were predicting anything.
Yeah. Get ready for a revolution, man.
I mean, something's going to happen. Cool. Okay. We'll start off with a fun one. Aliens caused the bubonic plague.
Those bastards.
Fucking aliens, man, I tell you. The bubonic plague, as we all know, was a massive plague that wiped out a third of the whole world's population at its worst. And that's leaving out all the gruesome details of what happens, but it's safe to say we all know how bad it was. At the time, there were several theories and suggestions as to where the plague came from. Everything from it being a punishment from God himself to Satan having just a little bit of fun. The theory suggests that it may have been aliens who were responsible for this horrible massacre as a form of population control. The theory can branch off in a few different ways because one could take that as aliens swooping down from space in their UFOs and unleashing this plague. But if you followed us through this iceberg, which I hope you have, aliens have been described as existing in a plane that we can't really comprehend, and that they exist here, just can't comprehend and see them. So maybe they're just unleashing this as a way to keep the population from going too crazy, right? They exist in that fourth dimension that we just can't see. One of my favorite theories on that, just kind of a cliff note, is have you ever walked into a room wanting to get something and then you forget why you're even there in the first place?
No, but have you ever walked into a room and decided you want to kill a third of them? Me
That's
either.
a little dark. Anyway, I know you have, because I think we all have. You forget kind of what you're doing. The theory there is you saw something you weren't supposed to, and it was kind of like a reset.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Oh my God, there's a bunch of aliens in here.
Yeah. So maybe you stepped over
Dolly Parton.
Yeah, 100%. Right. So you're on the right page. So anyway, that's the idea, is that aliens caused it. No matter how you spin the theory, aliens are rumored to be behind this. It's one of the many theories of the plague, and I think it's possible. They're Earth's getting a little crowded. Here's a little dust of some plague. We'll blame the rats.
Get rid of some of those damn dirty apes.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Next one is Enchanted websites. And no, I don't mean Pornhub, because we know we can't access that here in Utah. This was another theory that I really struggled to find anything on, because it just doesn't make, again, a whole lot of sense. But from what I did gather, the idea is that there are some form of magical websites online. They exist. And they've been said to grant a few lucky individuals success and infamy. So think of a website, you're cruising through, you find this website, you don't know about it, but after visiting the website, you become super famous. Maybe you get a call from a casting agent, and you're being put in the next big blockbuster film because they're like, hey, we saw your Facebook picture, and you're exactly what we need. Or
Forrest Gump 2.
Exactly. Or the podcast takes off and we become billionaires. Well, some people think that's because, some famous...
Tropic Thunder 2.
No, that's... You can take over for Robert Downey Jr., are you? So... Well, you brought it up, dude. So, some theorists state that God damn it. You always have to fuck it up.
I wasn't going with that.
It's in there. What were you going with, huh? What are you going with?
It's a funny show, man.
It is funny. It's hilarious.
Show.
So theorists state that some famous people got their fame simply by accessing these sites and would otherwise not have found their fame. It's a far cry for sure, but that's really what I could piece together. So literally it just gives credence to some people's success and everything of finding a website. You know, it's kind of like the same thing as, oh, that person must have sold their soul to the devil because there's no way they could be this rich. So maybe it was a website that did it.
They're only successful because they went to a website.
Right? It's kind of what it is. And then I'll end my next group of 3 with sun collapse.
And you want to know what site will actually do it for you?
Pornhub.
No, it's meatspin.com.
Meatspin? Is that a thing? I guarantee. Google it real quick. Meatspin.com.
Meatspin.
That's what I'm saying. Meatspin.com.
Don't Google it. It was a trick.
Oh, you wanted me to Google it.
It was a trick 20 years ago.
What? I've never heard of this. Is it an actual thing?
Yeah. It was like when I was playing StarCraft 1, people like, go to meatspin.com for like this and this. Like, for like, like map down.
Is it like a helicopter with a penis or something?
Right.
Oh, is it? Okay. I mean, I think we've all seen worse.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's hilarious. I had no idea. But you know, when you say it again, meat spin, that it's the helicopter. Okay, sun collapse. We're ultimately killing the sun, if this theory is to be believed. The theory here plays off something called solar farming, or using the sun's energy via heat and light to better our lives. I mean, we need the sun, obviously. We use the light and heat for many things, including agriculture, powering homes, cities, etc. But what if we are using too much? Is there such thing as using too much of the sun's resources? This theory suggests that the amount we're using is causing a change in the balance, and eventually our greediness will lead to the inevitable collapse and death of our sun. And when our sun dies, well, everything dies in our solar system, so let that sink in a bit. So if we weren't also greedy and tried to be warm and grow plants, wouldn't be killing our sun. So there you go. Sun collapse.
What a stupid theory.
What a stupid theory.
This one is microchips found in fossils. There have been many fossils and stones found with what appears to be ancient microchips embedded within.
I bumped the microphone hard.
You bitch.
I'm sorry.
Right. There have been many fossils and stones found with what appears to be ancient microchips embedded within.
They're microchipping dinosaurs now?
Well, hang on. They have been publicly announced, then walked back. These have either been walked back because of more natural explanations, or there has been a cover-up.
The T-Rex accidentally stepped on the tracking device. No big deal. Wasn't input there on purpose.
If these microchips were real, then it would suggest that humanity be stuck in a giant cycle of building themselves up technologically, then destroying themselves back to the Stone Ages.
Ages. Why are you putting an N in there?
If these microchips are real, then it suggests that humanity may have been on Earth a lot longer, and they're stuck in a perpetual giant cycle of building themselves up technologically, then destroying themselves back to the Stone Ages with that said technology. If this is true, it's believed to have happened many, many times before, and would explain why humanity, as we know it, is only a drop within the passage of time that the Earth has been around, right? It's been around for billions of years, 6 billion years. And we've only been around for, 100,000 tops?
It's because we keep killing ourselves off and starting new. Like, hey, we found out this new thing.
It's called the nuclear bomb. Bye-bye.
You know, before we had cars, we rode dinosaurs to work.
Who putting these nuclear bombs in our hands? Putin?
Yeah, right?
Putin. All right. Black Snake Prophecy. According to Lakota tribe prophecy, one day a black snake will slither across the land, destroying sacred sites and poisoning the water before destroying the earth itself. An ancient prophecy. However, in the current time, some Lakota tribe activists believe that this black snake is actually oil, and unknowingly, humans using this power will result in the demise of humanity and Earth itself.
Yeah.
This is why you see them protesting recently in the Dakota Access Pipeline, because they believe that if it's built, it'll go across their ancient sites and then eventually lead to the end of the world.
I mean, it's not good, but, you know.
All right. Underground caverns, hollow passages.
Agartha.
Yep, we got another Agartha post.
Agartha!
So this theory believes that there are many unexplored underground cavern/waterways that lead to the Middle Earth.
Did you see that shit? I don't remember where it was. It was like some suburban area where a land, like a sinkhole, like right next to his driveway, and it's underground fucking caverns.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah. Screw that. One can look at the Devil's Kettle. I think we went over this in Minnesota, where there's an unusual waterfall that under it is a pothole that eats about 50% of the river's flow. Where does this water go? Nobody really knows. People put trackers in it only to have them never resurface, like GPS trackers. Where do they go? Agartha? I don't know.
It's another dimension, man.
This theory believes that the governments know about this and make it difficult to explore secret cave systems, making several cave systems illegal to explore in. You can get felonies.
You go in there, you'll die. No, I'm just going to go to another plane of existence.
They'll say it's because of, an endangered bat. No, it's because they don't want to find Hitler.
That's true. No one wants to find Hitler again, man. All right. Biblical aliens. Biblical aliens. We talked about this a little bit on one of our viewer submission episodes. But any theory that involves aliens is good in my book. This one especially is fun because it suggests that aliens may have been mentioned in the Bible, and that those who worship the stars, such as in the Old Testament, may have actually been worshiping aliens. What a twist.
What a twist.
The Bible talks about a lot of stuff, I guess. I never read it, so it's speculation on my part, but talks of sightings before people and angels and so on and so forth. Now, if you listen to our episode of what aliens actually look like, which was brought via listener suggestion, they're pretty fucking alien in description and pretty damn terrifying. Like big eyeballs full of like thousands of wings and stuff. It's creepy. Even more so, UFOs have been speculated to be around for thousands of years. So who's to say they weren't worshiping aliens this entire time? I just laughed at this one because it was like, just imagine all the people, generation after generation, who were raised going to church and studying the Bible, only to find out that it could be aliens the entire time.
Well, God damn it!
It's like, hey, you've been worshiping aliens. It's not the stars; they were aliens. They're UFOs. Just imagine the look on their faces, man.
And Jesus, who was visiting you at 2 a.m, was a creep.
He's like, I'm the man. Hello, my child.
I'm from Subway.
Eat fresh. God damn it.
I know I do.
Okay. You fucker. Subway's taking over this episode, 100%.
Hey there, Europe.
Okay. Next is that the air is poison or a drug for living organisms. Nothing you see is actually what exists, and it could be due to the air we've been breathing since the day we were born. This theory doesn't state that the air is poison and that it's going to kill you, although it can if it gets bad enough, but that's besides the point. The theory actually revolves around the idea that the air is a form of drug that may be causing us to, in a sense, hallucinate and not actually see what is right before our eyes. Oxygen itself is a drug, and if taken in its pure form will cause you to pass out, become lightheaded, so over time, it's suggested that it's a prolonged, permanent change to our perception. This lends a little bit of credence to the idea that we can't see ghosts or spirits, and even further the suggestion of other dimensions and so forth. So the air is some kind of hallucinogenic over time that just kind of stops us from seeing the whole picture. So that one of the theories I saw was like ghosts, like when people die, they're actually still on this plane, but the air doesn't let us see them. Basically, the air we breathe keeps our minds in a state of a suppressed reality that only allows us to view very little.
That's why I hold my breath.
You're going purple, Cleet. Gotta breathe every now and again. Okay, and then the last one, which is a fun one, is the Luna Park Train Fire Demon. This one's kind of crazy. So this comes with a freaky picture that Cleet will put on YouTube because it's actually really cool. This revolves around the very real and horrible Sydney ghost train fire at Luna Park, Sydney in Australia. On June 9th, 1979, a fire broke out on the ride, killing 7 people, 6 of which were children. The entire ride was burned down due to inadequate firefighting measures and low staffing. The original reported cause of the fire was poor wiring and electrical work, but others suspected arson. The perpetrator was never caught. Sometime after the fire, a woman who lost her son and husband to the fire was going through pictures of their day at the park and came across this picture, which again we'll put on our YouTube channel. It's freaky as all get out and depicts a man in a leopard loincloth and creepy horned mask and cape combo. The man in the picture wasn't seen anywhere after the fire, nor did the park claim to have known about him, which makes it an anomaly. This theory goes on to point out the resemblance to a demon named Moloch from the Old Testament, who is depicted as a golden bull with horns. I guess in the Old Testament it said to worship Moloch you burned children at his altar, so it does bear some resemblances. It's all a bit odd, to be fair, that the day the event happened, you have this guy dressed up as the demon who likes burning children, taking a picture with children, and then never being seen again. So was he worshiping Moloch?
Maybe.
But the picture's creepy, man. You don't have to put it on Facebook, on YouTube. Creepy. That's mine.
This one is Neanderthals superiority.
Okay.
So Frank from Quora says, Neanderthals were originally represented as drastically inferior to Homo sapiens. But the more we learn about them, the smarter they get. Recently, it was discovered that two of the oldest caves with paintings, Chauvet Cave in France and El Castillo Cave in Spain, were painted by Neanderthals. The art of Chauvet is so good that it was the subject of a movie, Cave of the Forgotten Dreams. We'll put this on the YouTube as well. I think it's possible that they were better artists than humans at that time. Modern science has recently stated that there is no evidence to link humans won the Sapien War by sheer kill smarts.
What? The Sapien War?
Yeah, I dubbed it.
The biggest war in the world.
I dubbed it that.
That's what you called it.
Yeah, that's what I call it.
I like it. I like the word, the Sapien War. What the hell happened there?
It's possible that Neanderthals were just as smart or more, and maybe they were less violent and just benevolent, and we just murdered all of them.
We do that a lot.
Oh, and banged them into our DNA.
We do that a lot too.
Yeah. Oh, so the next one is UFOs are atmospheric life forms, and while I was trying to figure out what the fuck this is about, I stumbled on this gem, so I'm going to pull it up for you, Britton.
Oh, no.
I want you to describe what this Reddit page looks like to you. Describe it to our audience. So this is a Reddit forum.
I've seen Reddit.
What are these posts? Describe the posts that you see. These are threads.
They're empty.
Individual threads.
Yeah, individual threads with no messages, nothing.
What are the threads titled?
It's the same fucking one.
It's not. It's titled the same.
It's the same.
But posted at different times.
Right.
Historically.
22 days ago, 22. What the fuck?
Right?
This is weird.
Read it. Read to our audience what every post is titled.
How many people are obsessed or at least believe in aliens and other life forms, UFOs, and the high probability of government cover? Thoughts, ideas, theories, picks, all welcome. Judgment-free zone.
Look how far back this
And
goes.
no one's biting.
Well, hang on. I'm going to scroll to the top. There's none.
Holy shit, that's weird.
Scroll to the top.
Okay.
There's one comment.
Oh.
Notice
and this is the one 23 hours ago.
Notice my Reddit
Did
picture.
you comment on it? You suck. Why do you repost this subject so much if you don't get any traffic?
You never responded.
Oh my god. And that was 23 hours ago? So he just keeps...
For months.
For months.
They've been posting the same thread title on their own little Reddit thread called Alien Obsession.
Just hoping to get anything.
And you took 4 members that no one has ever posted.
So, hang on. So what we're finding now is you just posted in this. So if something goes horribly wrong...
Oh, so after I posted it, Reddit started asking me a bunch of questions. Was this person rude?
Really?
Did they post anything inappropriate? It was really strange. It's never happened to me before.
Wow. You found something, man.
Yeah. It's something weird.
Okay.
Anyways, it has nothing to do with the theory, but I found that while trying to research UFOs are atmospheric life forms. But this is what I sort of found on this because it was very hard to find anything on here. In cryptozoology and ufology, they talk about rods, also known as skyfish, air rods, or solar entities. And they are elongated visual artifacts appearing in photographic images and video recordings. It is said that these are atmospheric life forms because they're in the atmosphere. You'll see them flying around.
Right.
People dismiss them and say it's bugs flying at close range to the camera or the video recorder. This theory says, no, they're actual beings. But it takes it one step further, though, and says that UFOs that we see in the sky are also atmospheric life forms that live at a higher dimensional state.
Yeah.
They can only interact with us at high energies and quickly dissipate. So that's
so they're just popping into our dimension real quick, saying, hey, and then they're gone.
Yep.
It's like, I wish you could come to my dimension, don't you?
Hey, have a goodbye.
Have a good
They're gone. And then
Done.
All right, and the third one is the expanding Earth. So this is talking about how the Earth is growing. The hypothesis argues that the position and relative movement of the continents is not due to continental drift, but because the Earth is just getting bigger. You know? Global warming would also be blamed for this expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, when you're a kid, you just keep growing. So it's just, eventually the Earth is going to be huge.
Yeah, supersize me, baby. So that's all I got.
How many years would it take for us to outgrow the sun? That's my question.
It depends on how much the Earth eats, how many calories it does, and how many calories it burns, and maybe it has a bad thyroid.
Probably. Okay, let's start off with something called forest stairs. I think we've talked about this a couple times.
That's a creepy title.
Yeah, forest stairs?
Yeah.
So imagine walking through the woods. It's a nice, warm, sunny day. You pass hundreds of trees, rocks, bushes, critters, etc. when suddenly you notice a random set of stairs that seemingly leads to nothing.
I thought you meant like forest stairs, like people are staring at you in the forest.
No,
oh yeah,
like
we have
stairways.
heard of the forest stairways. Yeah,
yeah, it's like stairways.
That's funny.
So this is the thing. You're like people staring at you from the forest.
I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, I would leave too. This is the theory of the forest stairs, which talks of just that anomaly. These stairs are theorized to be spillovers from dimensions or realities that aren't our own. Some state that by looking at them causes a form of a glitch, much like in a video game or internet page, basically something that doesn't appear to belong there. It's heavily cautioned to go near these stairs alone, as it can cause a horrible death by mutilation or simply dropping dead at the mere sight of them. By interacting with the stairs, either by climbing them or simply touching the railing, it's reported that you'll lose all hearing and pick up audio that isn't a part of our existence, or even fully obliterated. So you're like, hey, I want to go climb these stairs, take a picture, boom, obliterated.
Yeah, my
Just
friend
a puddle of jelly.
found one of those, got a sleeping bag, walked up them, and slid down it, went right through the earth. Never saw him again.
Oh.
It went weed, he was gone.
Hope it was worth
story,
it,
bro.
Hope it was worth it. All in all, if you see a staircase on your hike, leave it the fuck alone, because it's not supposed to be in our realm of existence. So that's forest stairs. Not staring and in the forest.
It's a bunch of creepy people.
I'm sad.
I like to look at you.
I want to draw the trees. This one is the Nephilim Protocols. So this theory can divert down a few different paths. The title contains the word Nephilim, which is Hebrew in origin and describes mysterious beings or people who are large and strong, otherwise giants. Some Jewish explanations interpret them as being hybrid sons of fallen angels. But this theory doesn't play on giants, though. The Nephilim Protocol is a collection of files that supposedly exists on the deep web that houses ever-increasing data for some unknown purpose. Every file is encrypted and was assigned its own encryption key. The file will open when certain events take place. Some believe that during every public scandal or political happening, these files document and stores the data. So as you can imagine, there's some pretty juicy content housed in these files. These massive files, probably why they're called Nephilim, are getting bigger and bigger, and theorists believe that they are also gathering data on global elites and private organizations, etc. Eventually, it's believed that the files will be released into the public, revealing all of the encrypted data. Nobody knows who's behind the files or when they'll be released. So that's it. So it's just a deep, dark web of protocols gathering all the juicy data of shit that's happening, and one day it'll be spilled to the public, and that's probably where the JFK files are. They're like, hey, it's not time. They just keep putting dates, and they're like, oh, I have to keep prolonging it. We'll have to keep pushing it back.
The ultimate snoop.
Yeah. And then I'll end with atomic renovation.
I need to redo my kitchen.
Atomic renovation. This theory revolves around a company somewhere in the East that does home renovations called Atomic Renovation. Theories are they bomb the homes they no longer want to work with and start brand new.
Is that real? That's stupid.
Maybe the home is an eyesore for the neighborhood, or there are certain neighbors that are just non-cooperative and difficult to work with. So that's not really what it is. But if you were to replace the company with the government and the home with certain territories, that's what this theory is about. Do you like that little clever spin on that?
Blew up my house.
You're like, that's not real, is it? Atomic renovation. We'll blow up your home if we hate it. So the idea that the government uses atomic warfare to wipe out areas that they can later swoop in on and renovate once it's safe to do so. Kind of like a reset button of mass proportions. So it plays into the idea that these weapons weren't made for defense or warfare, but rather a means of population control. So yeah, that's the entire idea, is that we made atomic bombs so that if a certain area or people are getting out of hand, we can bomb them and say, hey, done, and then we go back in and renovate it. That's the theory. It's kind of weird, but hey, I didn't make it. I'm just reporting on it. So
yeah, we didn't like what you said about Gwyneth Paltrow, so yeah.
Go, fucker.
That was my turn. Oh yeah, this one is Census Programming. This theory is derived from the your red isn't my red theory, meaning that your sense of red is unique to you and not a uniform experience for humanity. Each life has a unique fingerprint of senses that is programmed specifically for you and is developed throughout your life. For Britain, everything might just be a unique shades of brown, which is why you're such a shitty person.
That's hurtful.
I literally wrote that.
I know, I can see you wrote that. Good for you, man. Did it take a while to write that sentence there?
It took me a couple minutes.
You had to get a couple minutes.
I had to get my muse going, you know?
Okay. Your brown muse going. Gotcha.
Yeah, but no, like each human experience is a unique fingerprint, you know?
Obviously.
Maybe in your world the sky is green
but I interpreted it blue because everyone knows the sky is blue.
Classical music just sounds like banshee screaming, and I don't know, man.
It's scat music.
It's your fingerprint.
I love the fact that you had no idea what that was, and I changed your life. That made me so happy. The fact that you had no idea, you're like, what's scat? And I was like, you really? Scat. You had no idea what scat was.
It was funny.
It was great.
All right, this one is paradigm recoalescence.
Wow.
This is the belief that the event horizon, or that the singularity with man and machine, is closer than ever. It's a bit crazy that this was written a couple of years ago, this conspiracy theory, Iceberg, as we've had so many advances, specifically in ChatGPT. Technology can write us scripts or even make real-life looking movies, and it's only getting better.
Have you seen... You're not on TikTok, are you?
Dude, I see some, like...
The
Joe
commercials
Biden
they make,
and Trump and Obama talking.
Oh, those are funny. Those are funny.
Not to get political.
Yeah, those
funny.
are funny. That's not. It's funny. But they'll do like full on, like they have this one where it's like a barbecue with that AI made, and they're all drinking beer, and the barbecue catches on fire, and everything's burning, and everyone's just drinking beer, and oh my god, it's so funny.
Someone created a fake ad for Joe Rogan, like promoting this product that's like a scam.
Damn, AI is getting crazy.
Yeah, and it looked real. Let's look at, like, it was a little off if you looked at it, but it looked real.
Yeah.
But anyway, soon we will be able to connect our consciousness together and become some type of superhuman race. You wouldn't want to just connect anyone's mind. You might get a little virus, you know?
Get a lot of viruses in your mind.
Speaking of viruses, let's talk about disease worship. Certain groups,
I love worshiping disease.
I bet you do. Certain groups in history have worshipped diseases. Think about smallpox.
That has to stay in there.
Think about smallpox, the impact it had on the human psyche. This theory believes that this worship gives pestilence power over people, as they assign it names and a godly image to them. Remember that reverse causality that we talked about earlier, upward causality?
Yeah.
Because so many people are afraid of being punished by a disease, it creates some type of god that will create a new disease that perpetuates its own set existence.
Wow. We're all just afraid of being punished all the time. I can't do this, I'll be punished. I can't do that, I'll be punished.
Oh, God.
Just live your fucking life. Be happy.
All right. You're next, man.
Okay. My last three of the evening, we'll start with Neolithic's contraption. The Neolithic Era, otherwise known as the Late Stone Age, sets the precedent for this theory. The idea is that over time, and I think you kind of talked about this briefly, humanity essentially forgets or simply doesn't utilize the technology or discoveries in their time frame, or a big reset button hits, and after a very long while, these discoveries or inventions are reinvented or rediscovered to a degree and then made to be this huge revelation. The theory goes further to state that the technology we use today may have been due to discoveries thousands of years ago, and those were due to discoveries made millions of years ago, so on and so forth. So all these new discoveries aren't new. We're just rediscovering them because of some mass extinction event or whatever.
It's called the nuclear bomb.
Yeah. Or atomic renovation. I don't like your house. I'm going to bomb it the fuck away. I don't like the Earth. I don't like the Earth. We're going to reset. Okay. And then next is erotas. I think you've probably heard of this one, right?
Yeah, erotica.
No, you fucker. Erotica. We're talking about erotica now. Our show's taking a unique spin.
Yeah.
Children go to bed. When a man loves a woman, very much.
When a man loves a woman.
Or when people love people. Let's go there. In researching this theory, the first thing that popped up was an article that said, the word you'll probably regret searching for. And I thought, fuck, I'm on the right place then, because that's what we're talking about.
What'd you find, Britt?
It's labeled as one of the internet's most infamous mysteries. This theory, like several others, has a huge in-depth explanation, but we're going to go for the short and sweet version. Erotas is a supposed computer algorithm that is said to conduct data surveillance of anyone that searches for that particular word on the web. So I'm on that now, which is fun because I researched erotas. It's said to leave absolutely no traces behind when it does this. Some theorists state that colossal companies such as Google will use this data to develop artificial intelligence that will eventually filter out the need for any human, as in another form of population control. So there's this story online on how this theory originated, and it came from a conversation on 4chan on November 26th, 2015. The story tells of a woman working for a disreputable company who was tasked with packing boxes with a tape gun. Supposedly the tape gun had the word erotas written on it rather than the name of the department like it was supposed to have.
Oh, like UPS.
Yeah, UPS is one of the big ones. A coworker of hers who had a detailed background in programming told her to throw the gun away immediately, as whomever saw that word or spoke it was immediately dismissed from the company. This caused the theory to take off with other stories being shared. Basically, you speak that word at work, you're fired. And if you look it up online, you're being tracked. So, the word erotas has some crazy fucking background.
I was just trying to look up erotica. Now I'm being tracked because I spelled it wrong.
I mean, you're probably still being tracked.
Yeah.
But, you know. Okay, and then I will end with animal-plant hybrids.
Do they eat people, though?
Plant hybrids.
This is an octopus tree that's eating people.
It's called the octatree. It's called the oak of
It's called
tentacles.
the octagon.
This one is weird because it talks about an organism that has the characteristics of both an animal and a plant. For example, it can photosynthesize, contain leaves, flowers, etc., and can move around and resemble a creature. A lot of the theories go into the idea that this is evolution of the perfect species, and eventually everything is working towards that perfect unison. Like I said, it's odd, but it is what it is. So basically, there are organisms out there that share, animal and plant. I mean, think of a fucking stick bug. Literally, it's a fucking walking stick. Think of a leaf bug. It's a fucking walking leaf. Think of cleat. It's just a goddamn rock person.
I am a concrete man.
You're a concrete boy.
Man.
Boy.
All right. This one is a sky snag theory. It's about Britain snatching kids up. And
Shut the fuck up, dude. I don't need a Subway.
If you're going to be mean to me.
You're going to be mean to me. I'm going to throw the stones, too. I don't need a Subway, Cleet. That's more your realm. I don't drive a school bus for nothing, Cleet. God damn it. So, you're going to have a hell of a time editing this one, man. Do you want to get in my school bus?
I'm going to snag you right from the sky.
I got popsicles in the trailer.
All UFO sightings are just the wind.
Bullshit.
The theory states because of the wind, a rip in the sky will move around and about as if it were sailing vessels of some kind.
Nope.
The sky, like everything else that moves, with the friction and rubbing, scraping and flowing, the air...
You got a little giggle there, bud.
With the friction and rubbing...
No, you got to keep it in.
Scraping and flowing, the air will, on occasion, burst seam.
You know, with a little bit of friction and rubbing, everything bursts seams from now to time.
The rip will wrap around itself, forming a concave surface with an inherent polish. And that's what we see as UFOs.
Out of all the theories we've talked about, that is the most bullshit.
I think it sounds plausible, but it's probably bullshit.
Bullshit.
Like two wind currents hit each other, become a tornado vortex,
and it's UFO,
and it shines, and it's like a circular. Like it makes sense.
Yeah, but then it's a UFO.
It's bullshit, but
it is bullshit.
I think it's not the craziest theory.
No, it's the dumbest.
This one
theory.
is the craziest theory.
Oh,
it's Waltershire.
Wow.
I feel like German people yell because they don't know how to pronounce their own words.
Yeah, you have to say really fast and scream, and it just makes sense.
This is, in other words, the ice theory proposed by Hans Hornberger. Taking some liberty with the phonetics on
whore bigger. That's a bigger whore.
That's what it says.
I'm just reading the facts here, Britton. I'm just saying what it says.
He believed that the ice was the basic substance of all cosmic processes. By his own account, Hornberger was observing the moon when he was struck by the notion that the brightness and roughness of its surface were due to ice.
Ice.
Shortly after, he experienced a dream in which he was floating in space, watching the swinging of a pendulum, which grew longer and longer until it broke. He states, I knew that Newton had been wrong and that the sun's gravitational pull ceases to exist at 3 times the distance of Neptune, he concluded.
Wow.
Well, that didn't age well.
Not really.
The more you dig into this, like I wasn't going to get too much into it, but he was like, thinking that humans were created from ice, that everything on Earth was created by like ice either melting or changing into different states. I don't know, kind of seemed too woo-woo for me, and I kind of stopped there.
Woo-woo, huh?
Yeah. All right, the last one is the Cosmic Censorship Cottage.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to stay next.
You like cottage cheese? So I couldn't find anything on this at all, but I according to the Iceberg database, which there is one, they mean cosmic censorship conjecture. So, given high enough densities, Einstein's theory of general relativity predicts that matter can suffer a cataclysmic collapse to a point-like region where both the density of matter and the curvature of space-time diverge, tend towards the infinitum. This is referred to as the singularity and also describes the formation of a black hole. In the case of a black hole, the singularity is hidden from view by the event horizon, but there is nothing in general relativity that says that this has to be the case. In other words, general relativity does not preclude the existence of naked singularities, or as I like to call them, naked black holes.
Huh. Look at me like that.
Do you like naked black holes, man?
Why not?
This is very disturbing on both theoretical and observational grounds. As physical conditions become increasingly extreme, and ultimately the laws of physics break down entirely as one approaches a singularity. To avoid this situation, in the late 1960s, Roger Penrose proposed that there was some physical principle, as yet not understood, that excludes naked singularities as solutions to the equations of general relativity.
What the fuck are you talking about right now? What is happening?
So if you bring it down to layman terms, they don't know why you can't see a black hole because nothing really tells you why you shouldn't be able to see it.
Yeah.
In other words, every singularity must possess an event horizon that hides the singularity from view. This is known as the cosmic censorship conjecture. Who is censoring this from us? Jesus? Your dog? God?
Jesus, probably.
Sometimes you just want to see inside a black hole, man.
Yeah.
Why can't it be naked? All right, well, that ends our Iceberg.
Tier 8. Yeah. Holy shit, we're almost there. Remember, I was so excited to start this thing, and I'm like, holy shit, we're still going.
After a year.
It's been a year. This thing has taken so long.
It just goes on and on.
And for those of you who have stuck with us since the beginning of this, thank you. You're the real OGs. And if you haven't, still thank you for jumping in. But yeah, definitely give a listen to the whole Iceberg. Okay, so as we wrap up the evening, again, just a quick reminder that we do have our Buzzsprout subscription service that really helps our show grow. Thank you to the 5 subscribers now, Haley, Devin, Mothman, Lou, and Conklin family. All of your contributions have definitely helped us grow. As we've talked about in prior episodes, we really want to get video going so you can look at our ugly mugs while we talk about shit. And we even want to visit some haunted sites and do some stuff with the Ouija board and the ghost rods, and like we get a lot of activity on the ghost rods, and so you can actually see
ghost box, right? The ghost box.
The ghost rods, the rods.
Yeah, but the ghost box.
The ghost box is cool. But we have a lot of plans, and obviously your contributions help us greatly. So if you are wanting to contribute, hit the link. Thank you very much for your support.
And if you're listening to us on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe, as it really helps us get us out there. And as always, thank you for entering the abyss.
Until next time.